These are the boil out units that you're going to use for your denture processing. These are used to warm up the flasks so that we can open them to take the wax out and to remove the wax from inside the flask. Before you use any of these boil outs, the very first thing you're going to do is look at it and clean it. You can see that this boil out has been left with wax. Now this is normal because when the wax is boiled, it's hot. You can't take it out when it's hot. However, when the wax cools before the boil out is turned on the next time, you can now take the cold wax and just peel it right off the surface of the water. Because it floats, it all comes to the top and it's very easy to get rid of. Before you turn the boil out on, you have to take this wax and throw it out. You do not want to leave things like base plates or pieces of wax in here. This you should throw out or get rid of when you finish. So this, don't leave that in the boil out. Clean out the smaller debris in here, make the water nice and clean. Fill the water if it needs to. On this side, you're going to fill the water to just below the top of this dividing wall. So you fill the water to just below the top of that dividing wall. This side is our boil out side. This is a recycling half of the boil out. The water is pulled from this side of the boil out, taken through a pump and out these faucets where it goes into this side of the boil out. So this is the dirty side. The other half of the boil out over here is our bath. This is simply hot water. Nothing fancy about it. It's just a big tub of hot water, and this is going to be used to warm up your entire flask and compress. So, once we've cleaned our boil out, now we can turn it on. To turn on the boil out, you're going to open these doors down here. And inside these doors are two dials on a nice bright red backing. Just take the dial and turn it all the way around to 250 degrees. The one on the right is for the boil out. The one on the left is for the bath. So turn on only as much as you need. If you need them both, fine, turn them both on. But if you're only using the boil out, just turn on the boil out. These tanks will now take about a half an hour for the water to reach the boiling temperature that you need in order to boil out the wax. To use the boil out is very simple. There's a switch over here in the corner. When I hit this switch, light comes on and water starts to come out of these faucets. When I'm boiling something, if I'm boiling out the wax from my flask, you'll open the flasks. I don't have a denture in here, but you'll open the flasks so that you have the model on one side, the teeth on the other side, and bits of half melted wax in here. You'll put these flasks into this basket. The open side of the basket goes towards you. That's because the water that goes into this basket drains out the back here. And the back here is the dirty side of the boil out. We don't want the wax to go into this side because this is where the pump is. If the wax goes into this side of the boil out, it will foul up the pump. What it means to have the basket facing this direction is that when you turn on these faucets, the boiling water will fall onto these flasks and can splash out at you. You don't want that to happen. So the best thing to do, these faucets move. Start by moving them to the sides so that they're not falling on whatever you're boiling. Then turn your water on, and then move the water over to the flasks. Now this water is not hot today because I've just turned on the boil out. When the water is hot, you want to wear the protective, the heavy gloves to keep yourself from getting burned. When you're finished, just turn off the switch. The pump stops. You can, once the wax is all washed out of your models, you can now take the models and proceed with your processing.